Can we go back to Washington to hook up with, first of all, Dave? Okay, David Halton is just going to be joining us in a moment or two. This is, as we mentioned, the video of the second aircraft hitting the second tower at the World Trade Center. And I know some of you may be wondering why we keep repeating this video. Many people in different parts of the country are still joining us. After all, it is just after 8 o'clock on the west coast of this nation, where people are waking up to the horrific news of this terrible act, an apparent terrorist act, as President George W. Bush has called it in the United States. As John Thompson said, this isn't terrorism, this is war. We are looking at a horrific scene on scales that we just could not imagine just 2 hours ago. From pictures in New York, we go to Washington, where the CBC's David Halton joins us now from our bureau there. David, what can you tell us?
Well, Peter, I just got back from the Pentagon. I was actually earlier this morning trying to catch a plane from National Airport to New York, not knowing at that point that all the airports had been closed. As we were just moving up to National Airport in a taxi, we heard this huge muffled roar, got out of the cab and looked behind us, and there was this black, huge mushroom cloud over the Pentagon. We drove back towards the Pentagon, and the whole western side of the building had collapsed. As you know, it's a huge, huge building, and at that point, the western side of the Pentagon had collapsed. We talked to one apparent eyewitness who said that a small plane, he thought a small plane had arrived and dive bombed the Pentagon from the western side. Sense of panic all around the area. The police closing off streets. A sense of disbelief among people I talked to out there. How could this happen to the symbols of power? One person asked in Washington. Just amazing. Others asking, well, how could this be so well organized? How could these people have got through airports to have hijacked these planes? A sense of disbelief, not really panic, but certainly fear, a real palpable sense of fear, Peter.
David, let's run down exactly what the state of play is with the administration right now and trying to deal with this. The President of the United States, George W. Bush, was in Florida today for one of his major education announcements. He has left Florida and is heading back to Washington now. One assumes that in Washington, while obviously the president is in control from the airborne White House, perhaps one of the only aircraft to be flying in the United States right now, the vice president, Dick Cheney, one assumes is in control at the White House or somewhere near the White House, because I believe it's been evacuated. What can you tell us on that front?
Well, certainly the Secret Service has ordered the large part of the White House evacuated. They're reporting that there was indeed a credible threat to the White House at one point. All the West Wing's been evacuated, so presumably Vice President Cheney is working from either his private residence or another office in Washington. The whole area around the White House has been cordoned off. All federal buildings here are being evacuated. We've seen a sense, not, as I say, not of panic, but of fear, especially touched off by the fact there were those additional bombings, a car bombing outside the State Department, and at one point rumors of a bomb at the Capitol building. But so far, thankfully, those rumors haven't been borne out.
All right, stand by for a minute, David. We've been hearing reaction from different world leaders. We know the Russians have put their air defenses on alert. We've heard that Israel has evacuated all its embassies all around the world. Canada deploring the actions, opening its airports to, especially to transatlantic flights that were destined for the United States that have to land somewhere, and they are coming into various Canadian airports, the main one being Pearson Airport in Toronto. We can tell you that the mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani, has just said in an interview that he fears a tremendous number of lives have been lost. Keep in mind, 50,000 people on a normal day work in that area of the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center.